wrestling has more than one royal family.
Adrenaline in my soul, something, something, Cody Rhodes. Let it out again.
What? 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 Y2J is the undisputed champion? Y2J was declared the winner at Vengeance? Vince McMahon and Booker T screw Stone Cold? Vince and Booker T screw Stone Cold? I said Vince McMahon and Booker T screw Stone Cold. After last night, I sat there and I thought about it and I said, Stone Cold, there's no use in sitting here crying, whining, pissing, moaning. So I asked myself, I said, Stone Cold, do you want Y2J or do you want Booker T? So while I was trying to make that decision, I drove over to the Sonic Drive-In, ordered a jalapeno burger, a chicken fried steak sandwich, a chili cheese dog with extra onions, French fries, tater tots, washed it down with 1 beer, 2 beers, 3 beers, a shot of whiskey, a margarita, and a Bloody Mary. And I said, Stone Cold, why have one when you can have them both?
What?
Booker T, you show up tonight with Vince McMahon and you got your security guards. You got your guard dogs. You got your pepper spray. So you can sit up there in your stupid little skybox and you can watch Stone Cold Steve Austin kick the crap out of Y2J in a steel cage. Y2J, you said you're calling Stone Cold Steve Austin a little trooper. Tonight, Stone Cold Steve Austin ain't gonna be no little trooper. And since we're right here in Anaheim, California, Hollywood is right down the road. So tonight, Chris Jericho, Stone Cold Steve Austin is gonna make you a star. No, he's gonna make you a superstar. No, just like you said, he's gonna make you a super duper star. Because you're gonna get the starring role in the movie I'm directing. And the name of that movie is, My Name is Chris Jericho, and I'm getting my ass whipped in a steel cage. And when it's all said and done, Chris Jericho, Stone Cold Steve Austin is gonna take his undisputed championships and walk out of this ring. And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Boo all you want, you dumb, worthless, fat pieces of shit. We're not even on TV yet. Boo all you want, I don't give a fuck.
So, I would like to thank God Almighty for giving everybody so much and me so little. I hate you. I hate you. I don't even know you, and I hate your guts. I hope all the bad things in life happen to you and nobody else but you. I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
I knew it. I love when he does that.
Well, once you hit rock bottom, the only way to go is up. So good luck, okay? Good luck.
You say rock bottom, but like, it just seems like things keep getting worse. What is rock bottom? Who decides what's the bottom of all this? I mean, seriously, you go, okay, today is Friday, and I woke up in Cleveland, and I'm going, how much worse can it get?
Don't count me down, you piece of shit. Shut your mouth. Look at me, Cody. Look at me. I want you to fire me. You fucking mark. Fire me. Fire me.
How you think they gonna feel when they introduce your boys as the new WWE Undisputed Tag Team Champions? I don't know, Ooze. They might be cheering. Yeah. They might be booing. Yeah. Little kids might be crying. Oh, yeah. We got grown be hating on the Uso, hating on us. Why? Because we went out there and did what we said we was going to do. Yeah.
Buffalo, all your babbling is interfering with my machine. So for the next few minutes, please just do me a favor and kindly shoot.
Chelsea says, Matt, can you come to bed? No, I'd rather play with my figures instead. She said, can we be romantic and do things we enjoy? No, me and Brian Myers spent our savings on toys. Now I think my girl is gonna walk out the door. I'm only 37, but I look like 54. And Matt Cardona, you could be the man, but there's just one problem you should understand. You're the king of the indies, and now you're rich, but to me, you will always be Edge's bitch. You and Brian Myers, you act like kids, but to me, you will always be Edge's bitch. You're the king of the indies, and now you're rich, but to me, you will always be Edge's bitch. To me, you will always be Edge's bitch. To me, you will always be Edge's bitch.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode 352 of the Hoots podcast on this Thursday, March 16, aka 316 day. What? Here on the Hoots podcast. What? Recording another show. What? Right here. What? On YouTube. What? Apple Podcasts. What? Spotify. What? Stitcher. What? Your mother's V-hole. What? Welcome to the program, everybody. It's your boy, Joshie. Hope you guys are having a wonderful week so far. I'm doing pretty well here in the lovely city of Chicago, Illinois. I am talking to you. It's Thursday, March 16th as I'm recording this. So hope you guys are, whenever you do check out this podcast, I want to say, as always, thank you for your time and your support for this podcast. Whether it's on video form or on audio, we appreciate your support for the Hoots podcast. It comes to you free of charge every single Thursday, anywhere you get your podcast from. Also, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well at the Hoots podcast. You can follow me on Twitter if you like at the Hoots podcast. Pretty simple ordeal here. And also you can follow me on Instagram if you like at Josh Lopez Media. Lots to talk about as we're 3 weeks out from WrestleMania in SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. Excited to talk about that this week in WWE. We got the return of the Thoughts of Dericho this week. Once again, Brother Carter via satellite this week. So you'll hear that following this opening segment as we've been switching up the formats here on the podcast at Hoots over the last couple weeks. Again, I just want to let you guys know that we've been getting some nice solid feedback number-wise recently. I mentioned before we surpassed 700K listeners and downloads on Anchor, which is pretty cool, pretty humbling. They actually switched their name to Spotify for podcasters. I don't know what that means, but as long as we get maybe some sponsor ads or something like that like we used to, that would be awesome. But nonetheless, I'm very appreciative for everybody, again, just rocking with us and having a good time. And, we're getting closer and closer to WrestleMania. There's a lot to discuss. Also, I had to plug, of course, our main event segment, the segment that everybody comes to this podcast for. That is, what the hell is wrong with AEW? And boy, there's a lot to discuss, as always. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get this rig on the road. I would like to mention here a little positive quote that I saw today. This for anybody that needs it. I know I don't want to force religion or anything like that down people's throat. I know we do talk about mental health, and I've never been timid or afraid to express my feelings when it comes to my faith, and how that's helped me through dark times and good times, and just in general. But if you're down in the dumps, if you start doubting yourself, if you're in a state of mind where you don't know what's going to happen next in your life, I think this quote will be good for you. It says, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." Once again, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. That's a little sentiment just for anybody that needs it, or a good reminder. Man, I gotta tell you what, man. I just realized over the it's not a new realization for me. It's once you grow up, and the years go by and the time goes by, not only you realize how much time goes, right? Like, in the blink of an eye, it's March. In the blink of an eye, it's going to be Christmas time. In the blink of an eye, it's the New Year's. And it's like time just doesn't stop when you get older. And I also realize how much time is wasted by, a lot of people, and especially those who are, going on Facebook and Twitter and convention about what went wrong with their relationships, what they claim, what they want, and then you know that whole cycle. For anybody who's watching and listens, you know the whole drill. And you know the girls who do it all the time, right? I can't stand this dude. This is what I want. I'm going to share a gazillion quotes from Stefan Speaks and all these other people. Hey, Stefan Speaks is a great content creator. Don't get me wrong. I share his work a lot of time too, but I also share stuff that's just real and it has substance and nuance to it. I'm not when I share relationship quotes or whatever on social media or whatever, it's not for my own doing or what I'm going through at the moment. It's for people that need a good reminder. Stefan Speaks is a good content creator, so I'm not taking a slight at him. But you know the chicks, right, that will, share these quotes and talk about what they want and express what they need and stuff like that, and then it's they do the complete opposite, right? And it's you see these Facebook posts and Twitter messages about, oh, I want this, I want that, and then they act different. You don't know what the fuck you want. It's kind of like wrestling fans too, right? Anyways, let's keep it going. Let's start off with the Back Porch Q&A session. As always, if you ever want to ask us a question on the Hoots Podcast, all you have to do is hit us up at Twitter at the Hoots Podcast or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. As tradition, we start off with the good brother Chris Zaletta. Throw up the X, everybody, at XTeamZaletta24X on the Twitter machine. He says, what up, Boos? Here's some questions for the Q&A this week. Thoughts on Taya joining AEW? Well, I'll answer it here since there's a lot to discuss in that segment, so I don't want to bury the lead there. I'm happy for her. I'm happy that she's gained TV time. She is a beautiful, beautiful woman, but very talented in the ring. I have my doubts, just per ritual from what I see from AEW and how these free agents are treated. Simple question back to you, Chris, and everybody that's listening to it. Is she really going to make a difference? What impact that Ty is going to bring to the table that Saraya, Ruby Soho, Tony Storm, et cetera, brought to the company since they joined AEW? It's a one feud program, probably with Jade Cargill. Maybe you could hook things up with Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker. That'd probably be a solid match or whatever, but I mean, I'm just happy that Ty is in wrestling and doing what she wants to do. It's not a knock on her, but we're just being realistic here. Is it really going to make a difference whether she's in AEW or not? That's just my opinion. Thoughts on the Roxanne Perez program at NXT? Well, it's certainly different. I was not expecting this to be a full thing where they're basically stripping her out of the championship from what I've seen so far. So I don't know. I need some more context to it. I just thought, why is it now that she's being stretchered out and having this angle where she collapsed? I'm not saying that it's not legitimate, but something just seems off to me about it. Best moves from NFL free agency so far. Good question. Here's the thing, Chris, when it comes to free agency with sports in general, especially with the nature of Twitter, so much goes on that I have a good memory and I can spit out a bunch of facts about match cards and stuff like that. I remember my uncle Chris and family members would call me Rayman or whatever because I had a good memory. Anyways, I have a good memory, but sometimes it goes away too when it comes like in a big swing of things. When it comes to free agency, I can't name every single free agency move that happened. I don't have that saved off the top of my head. You know, there's a lot going on, especially on my end, trying to get a job and all this other extra stuff. I mean, let me just look to see who's been picked up so far. See, this is the thing. I don't know off the top of my head who's going where or whatever. Never mind. Yeah, anyways, let's see. Jimmy Ward to Houston. Defensive back, I think, went there. Nice to see the Steelers get Cole Holcomb from the Commanders. I think that's going to be a good linebacker for them. Man, I'm sorry I'm going to be vague with this and give out boring answers. I'll tie in your answer about the Bears here, too. I really like the guys that we got with Tremaine Edmonds, TJ Edwards, and who else we got? PJ Walker's our backup quarterback, which I think is pretty cool. We got Nate Davis, who's a lineman from the Titans. DeMarcus Walker is also from the Titans as well. I like what I've seen so far. I'm sorry I couldn't give you a better answer, Chris. It's just really hard off the top of my head. Like, oh, this is like a real standout to me. Like, sure, maybe Orlando Brown going to the Bengals is whatever. I was surprised that Montgomery went to the Lions. So I want to give a shout out to David Montgomery. He had a really good run here, and I wish him the best. That's pretty much it. I mean, I always look at more the context of what we're talking about. Like, my main takeaway is not really free agency. It's more of the fact that we got DJ Moore in the trade and all the picks we got back, and then also the fact that Ayahuasca Boy is out of the division. You guys remember that GIF, the entourage GIF of Jeremy Piven? He does the get the fuck out part from the show. That was just in the top of my head the whole time with the whole Aaron Rodgers thing. My God, that guy's a freaking... He is... Dipshit is an understatement. I think I'd be underselling what Aaron Rodgers is. I think dipshit is just too easy of a term to describe him. But nonetheless, let's move on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to the next question here. It's 360 Day. Favorite Stone Cold moments. There's a lot of them. Obviously, you have Stone Cold Booker T brawl in the grocery store. I watched that a couple weeks ago on YouTube. I thought that was pretty funny. I got to see Stone Cold's last match with Kevin Owens last year at WrestleMania. That was a special one for me because that was the first time I got to see Stone Cold wrestle. So that was pretty cool. There's been other moments where obviously you have matches you can pick from, whether it's Stone Cold and Bret Hart from WrestleMania 13, one of the greatest professional wrestling matches of all time, not just WrestleMania matches. That's a great question. Of course, the beer truck where Vince is swimming in the ring, whisking away on Margaritaville. I like that one. Of course, there's the What's. And then, let's see, what else stands out to me? I remember, I think it was either the 10th or 15th anniversary of Raw where, like, Stone Cold came out and stunned the entire McMahon family. I thought that was hilarious. That's another one for me that stands out. And I played one of my favorite Stone Cold clips in the beginning of the podcast, so I hope you guys enjoyed that as well. Let's go to the next question. With Rey Mysterio going into the Hall of Fame, your favorite Mysterio matches? WrestleMania 22, Kurt Angle and Randy Orton. I don't care what anybody thinks about that. Oh, they just gave the title to Rey because Eddie passed away. That was a special moment. The guy deserved it. I was 11 years old at the time when I went to WrestleMania 22. That was the first Mania I got to go to. and it was a short match, but it was fantastic. The energy in that crowd was fantastic. They're like, oh, they're booing him and stuff like that. Okay, we got to separate 50% crowd audience that's picking up at ringside, where you got the markiest of marks making the loudest noise. This representing the entire building. Oh, it wasn't like booed across the entire arena. I was there that night. It was not the case. So Ray, the triple threat match where he became the world heavyweight champion, that one stands out to me. You have Ray, another Chicago moment, him and Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series 2019. That was a cool match. You had Ray and CM Punk's feud. There's a couple of Rey Mysterio, Chris Jericho matches that stand out to me. I think Extreme Rules 2009 is one that comes off the top of my head. And then you got, let's see. Of course, Ray and Eddie from WrestleMania 21. I thought it was a fantastic match. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I know a lot of the story and the more memorable stuff comes from SummerSlam of that year, but I think Ray and Eddie's match from 2001 is a classic for WrestleMania 21. And then, of course, their match for Halloween Havoc. Ray's had a lot of good matches. I enjoyed a lot of the stuff he did in Lucha Underground as well with Ricochet, a.k.a. Prince Pumba. So those are ones off the top of my head. Do you think Pat McAfee will be at the announce table at WrestleMania? No, I don't. Very strange. I don't know where his head's at right now. It's just I got a strange vibe from him coming off the heels of SummerSlam. I don't know if it's something where maybe he didn't like his performance in this match with Corbin, and that just started the thing where you notice him starting to drift away. Then conveniently, he gets College Game Day, and then he shows up the Rumble. He's excited and everything, and then he has his post when he goes on vacation. I don't know if I want to go back or not. So I don't know. I'm getting like wishy-washy vibes from Pat, and that's unfortunate. It is what it is. I love his content. I love his show, but as far as him in wrestling, WWE or WrestleMania, I don't know. Well, I'll have to see it to believe it. So I wish he was there more often, but that's just not the case. Do you think Josh Alexander will turn heel soon? That's a good question. He's had obviously the longest Impact World title reign. He's had a lot of dominant performances. I think a lot of people also forget that Josh spent a lot of time as a heel with that tag team, the North. I used to call it more a Monster Mafia because that's when I first saw Josh Alexander wrestle. But for a long time before he became like this big singles guy and a babyface, he was a heel for a long time in Impact. So it's not something that he can't do. This is the question of who you're going to put in his spot as the top babyface. That's the question. Like, you could have Josh. This is a very, very rare occasion for Impact where you could have a feud like Josh Alexander and Steve Maclin for a couple months. Like, you could take this feud here going into Rebellion and go all the way to Slammiversary. I think Impact is too dependent on doing different type of world title matches every single month. And I can appreciate the fact that you don't want the same matches repeat all the time. I can understand that, but in some cases you need feuds to go longer than just a month, or your quarterly events on Fight TV that are worth $10. And please stop airing pay-per-views on Friday nights, for the love of God. Next question. Which female would you induct into this year's Hall of Fame class? Victoria. That would be my question. Your favorite episode of Rivals so far? Glad you asked that one. Triple H and Batista was very good. The most recent one that just aired on A&E, I got to watch it the other day. I thought that was very good. But my favorite one that I've seen so far is either Eddie and Ray from last season, or The Rock and John Cena's Rivals episode that aired a couple of weeks ago. That was awesome. If you guys have not seen that, go check that out. It was very, very good. Thank you, Chris, for the questions this week. I appreciate you, brother, as always. Next, we transition to the good brother Mike at Main Event Swerve from Houston. He says, happy spring break for me, Hoots. It's nice to partake in the back porch session when I don't have a million things to do before and after Thursday. Thanks, as always, for answering every question. On this 360 day, what is your favorite Stone Cold Steve Austin moment? My favorite moment, my favorite exact moment from Stone Cold is there was this massive brawl that was going on during the whole invasion angle, and he was, down in his dumps at the bar, and he came back and started whipping everybody's ass at the end of the show. I forgot which Raw it was, but it's that one off the top of my head. That was a crazy, crazy moment. On a week where we had Super Mario Day, what is your favorite Mario-related theme, games or otherwise? This is the bad question for me. Not on your end, but for me, I'm not really into the Mario verse. I played the games. I can't tell you which games they were, though. It's been like almost 18 years or so since I played like a Mario game or something like that. I can't remember that off the top of my head. Question 3 he has here. So the Undertaker gave his Mount Rushmore of wrestlers recently. Were you surprised that Austin was on the list but The Rock didn't make the cut? No, I'm not surprised. And really, when it comes to Rock and Austin, it's a 50-50 split for a lot of people, and I understand that. I don't think it's an issue of, whether one could draw better than the other, or promos, or match quality. People have their choices. That's Taker's choice. I'm not surprised that The Rock didn't make the cut. And honestly, Taker's Mount Rushmore list is pretty good. It makes a lot of sense. Who's on your Mount Rushmore of wrestlers in your lifetime? Feel free to mention all 4 pillars of AEW. That's the shout out to Sam Piombo. That would be a hashtag no shot. Oh God, let's see. Okay, I have different tiers. I have my personal favorites and then all time of the industry. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with my favorite wrestlers. It's CM Punk, Undertaker, Triple H, and Roman Reigns. Those are my 4 right now. And then all time, it's I think it's Austin, Andre, John Cena, and Ric Flair. Those are the top 4 for me. Those would be my picks for the Mount Rushmore. Who are you pulling for the World Baseball Classic? Is it multiple countries or just one? No, I am rooting singly for my home country of Puerto Rico. Wepa, 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 wepa. Very nice to see them to beat the Dominican Republic last night. So I'm all in on Puerto Rico winning the World Baseball Classic. World Baseball Classic. By the way, doesn't Puerto Rico have the dopest uniform, the hats? Puerto Rico's awesome. I am biased. Speaking of the WBC, after Edwin Diaz got injured celebrating Puerto Rico's win, do you think MLB may have less players participating in the next event? Well, that just depends on their shitty commissioner. We'll have to see. It's unfortunate that he got hurt last night. I did see that, but hopefully these type of moments can happen at any time, at any moment. You can get injured whether you're on an NFL team, an NHL team, an MLB team, regardless of the time. You can get injured anytime, any place, and it's unfortunate that's what happened to him. What do you think of the Bears making moves in the offseason as we're seeing? What have you liked and disliked the most? Really nothing I dislike. I just like the choices that they have dressed so far in free agency, and I think Ryan Poles made a great point in his press conference today that it's just unrealistic to think that you're going to fill and, fix and save every single roster spot every position on the roster in one offseason. It's just unrealistic. But from what they've done so far and what we've got with the draft coming up and all the draft capital that we do have, I liked what I've seen so far. I think the arrow's going up for the Bears this season. Whether that's a playoff appearance or not, that remains to be seen. But also when it comes to the fact of, with Ryan Poles, I think we're going to get some more moves in the second or third wave of free agency where you see some of these one-year contracts where you see a lot of people coming in. So I like what we've got for the guys that we got for their age and a lot of reasonable contracts. Really nothing for moves-wise that I've seen so far that I have disliked, so that's a good thing. What are your thoughts on the Bears signing former Houston Roughnecks quarterback P.J. Walker to possibly back up Fields? I think it's a good choice. I think P.J. is a good backup, and I think he'll be a good fit in the roster. I like that move. Texans are making a lot of moves of their own. Do you see that team possibly going 7-9 next season? I can see it. This depends what they do with the quarterback. It starts and ends with the quarterback. I mean, I will say this. We got to build a Lovie Smith statue in Arlington Heights. And you know what? Give Davis Mills a tryout. If he ever becomes a free agent. Maybe he could be our third-string quarterback. Who knows? But as far as the record right now, it's too far ahead for me to guess what it's going to be. Even when you have a guy like Brandon Cooks who wants to leave. I don't know why they gave him the contract that they did. He's a good player, don't get me wrong, but they talk about this bad front office moves. Other than Top Gun Maverick, have you seen any of the Oscar-nominated films? I saw Elvis, and I saw The Whale. Those were the two that I watched, and the ones that are nominated. I did get to watch the Oscars the other night, so it was really cool. I can't pronounce his name, but I think it's Kae-Hong Young. I think that's his name. Who won Best Supporting Actor for a Male? His speech the other night about keeping your dreams going really touched a place in my heart. I thought that was very special. So. I thought that was really cool, and then getting to see Brendan Fraser win an Oscar, I thought that was very nice. And then Rihanna and her Good Waterfall, she did a good job with her performance of "Lift Me Up." I love that song, and it's very, very good. I haven't seen Top Gun Maverick yet. I haven't seen that movie. Another movie I forgot to mention that I did see was Wakanda Forever, of course. Have you ever seen the low-brow Pauly short comedy Encino Man? If so, can you believe that 3 other people in that movie, not including Pauly, have Oscar wins? I haven't seen that movie, but it was mentioned that Brendan Fraser and the other guy I just mentioned were in the same movie with each other. I didn't see it at the time. I was probably too young. When did that movie come out? 95? I was 1 year old. Yes, I didn't see it. What is your favorite romantic comedy? And how sappy of a movie, so to speak, are you comfortable watching? Oh, this is an interesting question. Does Best of Me count? The Notebook. There's a lot to pick from. Notting Hill, the Julia Roberts movie was really good. There's one that came out last year that was really good that I enjoyed. That was called About Fate. I really enjoyed that one. Do you consider Titanic a romantic? I can't call Titanic a romantic comedy. That's fucked up. No, I call it chick flicks, whatever category you want. I just enjoy good movies. It's really not a thing when it comes to snappy stuff. I do enjoy those movies. I really do. That Best of Me with James Marsden, that movie's very good. If I had to pick my number one, it'd probably be The Notebook. That's probably my favorite one. Good question. What do you think of this budding Brock and Omos rivalry so far? It had the most viewed video in WWE this week. Oh, golly, I wonder why. People have an uproar over something on Twitter, and guess what? They can't stop watching it. Over the years, I've grown to understand. I don't have to accept it, but I've grown to understand that the more things that people bitch about, the more they're going to cling onto and watch it for that same reason. I just learned over the years, especially in this field, that hate watching is more prevalent than actually watching entertainment. Think about that. Hate watching is an activity that's done more than actually watching the things that you want to enjoy. And that's what it is. A lot of people looked at the Brock and Omos segment on Raw this past Monday, and okay, Brock didn't time his fall off the ropes at the right time. So, see, I told you, that right there is the reason why this match is going to be horrible at WrestleMania. Why are they putting Omos against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania? And guess what? The most viewed video on YouTube this week is Brock Lesnar and Omos in the ring. Look, hate watch draws viewers. Maybe it's a lesson that maybe I should partake, right? Let's turn the Hoots podcast into 100% negativity and see how many subscribers and listens and downloads we get. Let's see if that works, right? Logan Paul keeps getting one over on Seth Rollins. Do you think Seth Rollins gets an epic stop at WrestleMania, or will Logan roll right through? I don't know if he'll roll right through, but you gotta make Logan look good heading towards this WrestleMania match. You know, I'm excited for the next time these two get in the ring with each other. I enjoyed their first segment. I think it's gonna be an awesome match. It's gonna be a barn burner, if you will. A lot of people are like, why is the Miz continuing to be involved in this match? Guys, Miz brought Logan Paul to WWE. Of course he would be involved. I'm excited for that match. It's going to be awesome, regardless of who wins. I think it's going to be dope. It's going to be badass. And last question here. I have watched the NXT Women's title match conclusion several times, and I can't decide. Do you think Roxanne fainted? And aside from that, could she swerve us and be in the ladder match anyway? No one said the title was vacant. Anyway, thanks again, and have an Usi week. Good question. Again, something that seems off. Is it a roundabout way to come back and have a heel turn? I don't know. It just seems very odd, the route they're going with Roxanne Perez. I don't get it. But I'm going to let it play out and see what happens. They've been having these contenders matches, so they're going to have a ladder match at Stand and Deliver, and we'll have to see how that plays out. You know what I mean? So, we'll see. Speaking of Edwin Diaz, by the way, I just saw Jeff Passan tweet this. He says, New York Mets closer Edwin Diaz tore the patellar tendon in his right knee during the celebration after Puerto Rico's WBC victory against the Dominican Republic. He'll need surgery and expected to miss the season. That sucks for Mets fans. Shout out to my guy Andrew Baydal. That absolutely sucks. Anyways, on that note, I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me for this week's edition of the Back Porch Q&A session. As always, if you want to participate in the Back Porch Q&A session, all you have to do is hit me up on Twitter at the Hoots Podcast or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. Right now, we're going to send it out to Brother Carter for this week's edition of the Thoughts of Dericho. And following that, we'll be right back here to talk about what happened this week in WWE right here on the Hoots Podcast.
And now, the Thoughts of Dericho. Listen well, man.
Welcome, one and all, to the segment that's excited for some of the greatest sports weeks of the year. It is the Thoughts of Dericho, featuring the one, the only, Brother Carter. All right, I'm going to keep the Thoughts of Dericho brief this week because I want to spend some time at the end talking about March Madness and giving you my picks for the NCAA tournament. As most of you know, I'm a big college sports guy, and so I love this time of year. I love everything that happens around this time of year with the NCAA tournament, with the little guys getting a shot at the big guys. It's awesome. I love it. So let's get into it. But first, let's get into a few things from the world of professional wrestling this week. Start with SmackDown. Good stuff here on SmackDown this week. It looks like they may be setting up a McIntyre, Sheamus, Gunther triple threat match at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship. I think that's fine. No problems with that at all. Congratulations to Rey Mysterio on being the first member of the WWE Hall of Fame class 2023. Very, very well deserved. I think we all know Rey Mysterio's wonderful accomplishments and everything that he's done for the professional wrestling business. I think it's just tremendous. I think to have him go out, he's going to face Dominic at WrestleMania, no doubt. So, to have him go out there and get to do that with his son, like to have a moment, to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and then have a moment with his son at WrestleMania. That's pretty cool. I really, really like that. A lot of great matches this week. A lot of people are complaining about the Charlotte Flair Shotzi match. It was what it was. Definitely not both of their best efforts. I would agree with that for sure. I don't know what they're going to do with Shotzi. She's kind of just floating right now. It might be good for her to go back to NXT. I think she could do some stuff, kind of reinvent herself as Shotzi Blackheart. She's just, she has potential, but something's just not working for her on the main roster, but we'll see. And of course, Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn stand tall over the bloodline. It's the best story in professional wrestling. It's been the best story in professional wrestling for about 10 years. And I can't wait to see what they're going to do next. So, just a few brief thoughts on SmackDown. Let's go over to Raw real quick. So, it looks like we're going to get Edge versus Finn Balor in Hell in a Cell. I like it. It's a great way to do it. I absolutely think that's going to be a terrific match. We know what both competitors can do, so that was really good. Omos got the upper hand on Brock Lesnar, which I thought was interesting. I know you got to do something to kind of build to this feud, and I get that. So we'll see what happens with that. I expect that to be a pretty quick match at WrestleMania. It's something for both big men to do. It'll be fine. It is what it is. So there we go. Cody Rhodes versus L.A. Knight. Yeah, I love L.A. Knight. I think he's just tremendous. LA Knight's insulted he doesn't have a WrestleMania match yet, but that's fine. I read rumors that he's going to get a huge push after WrestleMania, and it's very well deserved because LA Knight, is awesome, and I can't wait to see what he's going to do in 2023. The sun is going down on Roman Reigns' generational run. Cody and Sammy and Kevin and Roman and Paul Heyman and the Bloodline, they've all done an incredible job building this story. I cannot wait to see what happens at WrestleMania in 2 weeks. It's going to be good. Okay, let's see. Going forward here, Bronson Reed beats Elias, fine. Austin Theory with a great match against Angelo Dawkins, great. Again, they keep teasing the Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio match. It'll eventually happen. It'll be fine. Baron Corbin's just kind of floating right now, which sucks because Baron Corbin is an incredible talent, and everything WWE's asked him to do, he's done it really well. So I hope they can find something for him, something that works, something that can stick with him, because I definitely think great things of Baron Corbin, but he just hasn't found that one gimmick that's just, put him over the top yet. So hopefully he can find something here in the next little bit. I still think he just needs to go back to the Lone Wolf and just let that be a thing. So we'll see what happens with him. Chelsea Green continues to be hilarious. I can't wait to see when Asuka and Bianca Belair tie it up at Mania. That's going to be awesome. And then, of course, KO got exactly what he wanted. And, nobody came out to help him. And Bloodline beat the crap out of him. So hopefully that will lead to a tag match, or that should lead to a tag match with Owens and Zayn against the Usos at WrestleMania. But we will see what happens. So, again, just a few brief thoughts on Raw. And those are my main thoughts about WWE this week. To close out the Thoughts of Dericho this week, I'm going to start giving you my picks for March Madness. And you can take him or leave him, because I've done some research, but as we know, you just never know with this tournament. So, some upsets in the first round. I like Charleston over Virginia. I like Utah State over Missouri. I got Providence beating Kentucky. I don't think Kentucky's playing very good basketball right now. So, like them, like VCU to beat St. Mary's, Boise over Northwestern. Sorry, Josh. I've got the elusive 12-13 matchup with Drake against Kent State. I figure if there's any year to take a shot at it, this is it. Miami's not playing great. Indiana's not playing great. So just keep those things in mind. All right, going into this, let's see. Sweet 16, let's see. What are my upsets here? Got Duke taking out Purdue in the Sweet 16. I got UConn taking out Kansas. Gonzaga taking out UCLA. Those are some big upsets there. Creighton's beating Baylor in the second round, by the way. Final four, I've got Alabama versus Duke, with Alabama beating Duke. And Texas. Texas is going to upset Houston in the Elite Eight, by the way. Texas is going to upset them. Let's see. Gonzaga is going to get to the Final Four as well. They're going to beat UConn. So my Final Four is Alabama, Duke, Texas, and Gonzaga. I got Bama beating Duke, Texas beating Gonzaga, and I have the Alabama Crimson Tide beating my Texas Longhorns 77-70 in the national championship. So those are my thoughts. Those are my picks. Enjoy March Madness, anybody. These are three of my favorite sports weeks of the year. Let's go.
This has been the Thoughts of Dericho. You're smarter now, man.
I do not work for the Bloodline, and I don't work for Mr. Heyman. So if I want to come out here, stand side by side with Sami Zayn, I can do that. If I want to come out here and fight alongside Kevin Owens, I can do that. And I also hear Mr. Heyman say, don't make this personal. Don't make it personal. What a joke. It has been personal since I first appeared on this show at 21 years old in front of these same cameramen. It's personal when week after week I'm choked up, fighting back tears with every sentence. It's personal when you wear a protective coat of armor, and I'm not talking about my robe. I'm talking about a tailored suit, and the reason I wear it is not because I think I am somebody. It's because I want to be somebody. Mr. Heyman talking about acknowledging Roman Reigns. I acknowledge you. You need to acknowledge me. I am not perfect, but my time since I came back to the WWE has been perfect. I am undefeated. I grew up thinking that I was a prince in this industry. But I've got no crown, no chip, no master sword, no undisputed WWE Universal Championship. And on April 2nd, when the sun goes down on Hollywood, it is going down on Roman Reigns' generational run. On April 2nd, it's not just those who've got the Rhodes and the Runnels blood pumping through their veins. It's every single person who has followed me until the end. On April 2nd, I have waited my whole life. I will wait no more. On April 2nd, Roman Reigns, I pin you. I stick you in this ring and become the first Rhodes to ever say he is the undisputed WWE Universal Champion.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Hoots Podcast. Time to tell you what happened this week in WWE. Yes, sir. We are 3 weeks out from WrestleMania Night 1 in Inglewood, California. That's right. We have SoFi Stadium, home of the Rams and Chargers. Gotta tell you what, guys, man, I'm pretty excited, man. I think on next week's episode, I like doing the yearly challenge where I try to predict the match order, or at least the match cards for both nights. Since now this is a 2-night event, I think it's a cool concept. I like the fact that WrestleMania is on both nights. So I really don't have an issue with that. So it's a fun challenge to put the booking head or fancy booking cap on and give it a shot and see what happens. So we're 3 weeks out from WrestleMania. A lot to discuss. Let's take a look at SmackDown from last week. 1 second here. SmackDown this past week was in Pittsburgh. Shout out to our guy Adam Daly. Very interesting show this past Friday night. Started off with the fatal 5-way match, determined the number one contender for Gunther and his Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. Drew McIntyre and Sheamus won via double pinfall, which I thought was a nice finish. You rarely see those when in multi-person matches, so this brought up more issues. Sheamus has been very, very paranoid over the fact that Drew McIntyre wants to get a shot at Gunther. Sheamus is acting a little bit like a baby back bitch, if we're being honest, over this whole situation. So tomorrow on SmackDown, as we're recording this, Drew McIntyre and Sheamus will be fighting each other. The winner of that match will fight Gunther at WrestleMania. Now, there's a lot of routes you could go with. I'll give you a couple options here. You could go no contest, where both guys win. Nobody wins, but both guys get to fight Gunther, and it's a triple threat match, right? You can have Sheamus win and him get his final shot at Gunther at WrestleMania. Or, no. How about this? Let's scrap that. Drew McIntyre wins, and it's Gunther and Drew 1-on-1. The third option here, here's the important one. Sheamus wins, but Solo Sikoa costs Drew McIntyre the chance to get the Intercontinental Championship. If you want to do Gunther and Drew 1-on-1, save that bad boy for London at Money in the Bank. Solo doesn't have a match right now at WrestleMania, and I think even though he would take his first L to Drew McIntyre, it's not a bad thing. If you want to do Drew McIntyre and Solo Sikoa 1-on-1, yeah, Solo cost Drew the match. Drew has history with all this bloodline stuff and Cody and everything. It's another wrinkle to add in to the scenario of what's going to happen at WrestleMania. It's just an idea I'm throwing out there. You used to do it or not. But I think the most likely outcome will probably be a double DQ or no contest where both guys end up fighting Gunther at WrestleMania, which is fine by me. I mean, a triple threat match with those three guys is going to be awesome. So really no harm, no foul there. I'll just give you different alternative options you can think about as far as how you want to go about that match. Another week of Dominic Mysterio torturing his dad's mental health and pride and dignity. Dominic Mysterio continuing to maximize his TV time. It's crazy. By the way, congratulations to Ray for going. He's being announced for being inducted into this year's class of the Hall of Fame. Also, I want to say congratulations to the Great Buddha, who's also the second inductee in this class. Ric Flair announced that on the Bump yesterday. So pretty cool. We have Rey Mysterio and Great Buddha so far for the Hall of Fame. And we'll see who gets announced tomorrow. I'm sure somebody else will be announced tomorrow. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Okay. Anyways, going back to SmackDown. Judgment Day defeated Legado del Fantasma. I want to give a shout out. This is one of my favorite matches of the week. If you guys haven't go see it, it's the Viking Raiders against Braun Strowman and Ricochet. I thought that match was fantastic. That was a barn burner. Charlotte Flair makes Shotzi tap out to the figure 8. Seems like Charlotte's been getting a lot of ridicule on Twitter over her match with Shotzi. No, this is not something that you want to put on the wall or anything like that, but I think we need to cool it down a little bit with the Charlotte flag. The main takeaway should not have been the match. The match was never going to be important in the first place. What I'm talking about for that episode of SmackDown. The promo exchange with her and Rhea, I thought was very good. You can see the seeds and the mental games that Rhea's playing with Charlotte. And she brings up the point. What is Charlotte Flair without a championship? That's an interesting tie-in. Let's see how that plays out. Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn get into a brawl with the Usos. Jey Uso cuts a promo basically saying, you know, what we all know. What would you do if you're in a position if you had to choose your brother over somebody else? What would you do if your family's in peril? What would you do? And Jay's reasoning made a lot of sense. And yeah, he's right. Jimmy's right. The tribal chief is right. Sami Zayn is selfish. And I don't blame Jay for making this decision. Not one bit. But, man, it just still amazes me, guys, right? That all this stuff about Cody Rhodes going to be booed out of the building. The fans are going to turn on him. Oh, this is the wrong decision. This dude keeps coming out and getting louder and louder and louder cheers. And I think people don't want to accept that. People just have this thing on Cody. And look, don't get me wrong. I put my hand up here and say that I was as critical as anybody when it comes to the stuff that he was doing in AEW. I'm not going to come in here and play this game of, oh, I only like Cody because he's in WWE. No, what Cody's doing right now is what he should have done in AEW. That was my issue. I call it Saints fair. I did not like what I saw from Cody in AEW. That shit sucked. All of it. The over-the-top pandering, the fucking political way he carried himself, and all the skits, and Arn Anderson with the Matt Nagy play sheet, and all this other nonsense. I didn't care for that. What he's doing right now in WWE is what he should have done the entire time while he was in AEW. That was my issue. But again, I think people just don't want to admit that Cody's having success in WWE because that makes AEW look bad. And you gotta remember the audience that we're talking to right now. We're in the era, in the vortex, in the echo chamber of, okay, AEW's number one and everything is mid compared to AEW. Just remember that. You're not an intelligent, competent wrestling mind unless you put over everything Tony Khan does. Just remember that, everybody. Let's transition to Raw this past Monday night from Providence, Rhode Island. By the way, I wonder why we don't get more vignettes from the Friendly Tap. I think that would have been a nice little homage to the late great Tim White, one of the best referees of all time. Shout out to Tim White. What a legend. Anyways, I thought this episode of Raw was okay. I wouldn't say this episode was great or anything like that. But it was definitely an eventful show. We had a lot of different matches announced for WrestleMania. Edge and Finn Balor's official for Hell in a Cell. Hell in a Cell. So Hell in a Cell makes its return to WrestleMania for the first time since Shane McMahon and The Undertaker at WrestleMania 32. It's been 7 years since we last seen a Hell in a Cell match at WrestleMania. Very cool for Finn. This is probably the biggest match of his career, if we're being honest, especially on a WrestleMania stage. Edge and Finn Balor, they're going to put an end to this year-long rivalry. By the way, I recommend you guys go check out Edge's conversation on the After the Bell podcast with Corey Graves and Kevin Patrick. he really tied into the layers and the behind-the-scenes aspect of this feud with him and the Judgment Day, and I thought it was very good, and it was a very good interview. You guys go check it out. I got to give credit where credit's due, man. The long-term storytelling with the Edge and the Judgment Day has been one of the more under-the-radar things in WWE, and I don't think he gets enough credit for how sustainable it's been and how good it's been. All the different layers, whether it's, you know, when they made the initial turn on Edge and everybody's like, oh, this group is bound to be horrible, and then you bring in Dominic, and Dominic turns on Ray and Edge at Clash of the Castle. You have that epic I Quit match at Extreme Rules, one of my favorite I Quit matches I've ever seen. And then you get to the Elimination Chamber, and then you got On-Site Edge. You know, the Judgment Day gives Beth the concerto, and Edge is like, it's like, okay, every time I see you is on site. It was just brawl. Every time I see you is on site. And I think people are not appreciating what we're having right now with feuds like this because, you know, this is the great thing of what Edge's run's been since he came back to the WWE. Long-term storytelling with Seth, you know, this feud with the Judgment Day, the Randy Orton feud. The only short aspects of feuds that he's had in WWE is with Roman Reigns. That was only a 2-month thing. So Edge has been killing it. I'm excited for this match. Hell in a Cell should be a nice feature. I think we'll get some callbacks. I'm sure there'll be some type of interference here and there. But I'm excited for that match and what it looks like at WrestleMania. And if the Demon comes out, cool. Good match with Judgment Day as they defeat Johnny Gargano and Dexter Lumis. I thought that was fine. Cody Rhodes and LA Knight. Very solid match. Very solid TV match. And I thought Cody cut one of his best promos. You guys heard it right when he came back from the break. I'm really excited for this next interaction with Cody and Roman. I'm really excited for the next time these guys are in the ring with each other, whether it's on Friday, tomorrow, or on Monday in St. Louis. Paul even said that the Tribal Chief will be in St. Louis, and he says Cody will acknowledge the Tribal Chief. And he knew sooner or later the brawl is going to happen, so Roman will probably beat up Cody pretty bad on Raw on Monday, and Cody will acknowledge the Tribal Chief, and we'll see how that goes. But so far, so good, man. And then the thread with Kevin Owens being a Taurus, I understand Kevin in our ways of being stubborn at times. He's just headstrong with the fact that he's not going to accept Sami Zayn's apology yet. He wants nothing to do to him, and he's like, hey, you know what? I'm going to do my own thing. I don't want any help from anybody. And that's what he got. He got my guy Kevin Owens, the guy I share a birthday with. My guy Kevin Owens got on Monday. And that was unfortunate. But nonetheless, that was pretty much it. I thought this was a solid show. I didn't think it was bad or horrible or anything like that. I thought it was just solid. I thought the Austin Theory, Angelo Dawkins match was pretty good. Theory using the STF was pretty funny. I thought that was really nice. And also that backstage with Theory and the Street Profits, I thought it was good. So we're going to get Theory and Montez Ford, I think, next week on Raw. And we'll see when John Cena graces us with his presence again. So we'll have to see how that plays out. So, all in all, good stuff from Raw SmackDown. As we look at the updated card for WrestleMania, we have 2 matches announced for 2 separate nights, obviously. So we have Seth Rollins and Logan Paul, like I mentioned last week. That's going to be on night 1, as it is Logan Paul's birthday. Then you go to night 2, and obviously the main event, the last match of the event, will be Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. And then other matches announced for the card, I mentioned Edge and Finn Balor, Hell in a Cell. We have the Trios match with Trish Stratus, Lita, and Becky Lynch against Damage Control. Austin Theory puts the United States title against John Cena. Gunther puts the Intercontinental title on the line against Sheamus or Drew McIntyre. Brock Lesnar versus Omos with MVP at ringside. Bianca Belair versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. And finally, Charlotte Flair against Rhea Ripley for the SmackDown Women's Championship. So, more matches being announced. I'm pretty sure we'll get close to 16 total matches overall, or 15 total matches overall spanning the 2 nights, and get more announcements for the Hall of Fame. And you guys feel the excitement? Because I'm getting pretty pumped up for WrestleMania. I really am. I'm excited. I know I'm dejected and all over the fact that I won't be there this year, but I am really excited, and I think it's going to be a very special night. And I did want to mention this. I've been watching a lot of the old sit-down interviews that Michael Cole did with Triple H. For those who are really long-time supporters of my content and stuff like that, know that when I had my old radio show, we'd always end the show with airing one of the Triple H and Michael Cole interviews. And I thought those were so very productive in how they were going about the authority angle at the time and how it helped out. And it was also a platform to build other feuds. And also, there was times where Paul Heyman had those sit-down interviews with Michael Cole. And I think if you could do something on SmackDown, right, it could be either tomorrow or next week or something like that. Michael Cole has one of those sit-down style interviews in the back with Paul Heyman and pick his brain of what's going on with Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and everything in between. I think that'd be pretty cool. But all in all, that's what happened this week in WWE. And now it's time for the main event. It's scheduled for 1 fall with an unlimited time limit. And we're going to get into this bad boy, otherwise known as What the Hell's Wrong with AEW on 3/16 Day. Starting off with the one and only, via satellite himself, Brother Carter, in a 3, 2, 1.
Beat your meat, 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 beat your meat.
I'm telling you, my time is right now. Right this minute, 2022. We're living it. My time is now. My time is right goddamn now.
Man, what intensity.
It's time for What the Hell is Wrong with AEW?
What the hell is wrong with AEW? Well, this was their big show, and they were going to be back in Canada and doing all the things in front of all the people, and this was supposed to be a big homecoming show and change the world of AEW. It did none of those things. It, in fact, highlighted what basically Josh and I have been talking about since we started this segment almost 3 years ago. So let's get to the talk about the good stuff first. There were some things I enjoyed. We started off with MJF when he said he was Jewish AF. I thought that was great. I also love that he took a shot at Bret Hart. I think Bret Hart is highly overrated. Good stuff, fine, but growing up, he was okay for his time. But I think he thinks his shit don't stink. Bret Hart thinks he's way better than he thinks he actually is. So, anyways, hot take on that. But yeah, not a huge Bret Hart fan. Not gonna lie to you. I actually like this opening segment. You got the 4 pillars somewhat involved. When Jungle Boy came out, at first I thought, oh God, he's going to be the next challenger. And then I thought, well, he's as good as any. And then when Guevara came out, I thought, oh, okay. And then Darby Allin came out. So I thought that was actually cool, the 4 pillars of AEW. The only problem with that is that anytime every one of them talked that wasn't MJF, they all proved and basically highlighted the fact that there is nobody on MJF's level. Jungle Boy's like, oh, well, we've never been on Dark. MJF didn't have to be on Dark. No, MJF, you've been handed every opportunity. Because he deserves it. He's the only good thing about the show. So, yeah. MJF is going to get all those things. He deserves it. Anyways, I hope it ends up being Jungle Boy that gets the title shot because he's really the only one out of the other three of them that remotely deserves it. Darby Allin is a stunt show clown, and Sammy Guevara has done nothing of relevance for the last 2 years except, try to kill himself by doing stupid flips off of ladders. So, anyways, I actually enjoyed this opening segment. I thought it was good stuff. As much as Chris Jericho sucks, it's cool that he got to have a street named after him in Winnipeg at his hometown. That's pretty cool. And Ricky Starks was making some good points about Bullet Club not being relevant since 2015. I like that. That's all I really liked about the show. Let's get to the crap, and oh boy, is there a lot of crap. Okay, we start with the BCC versus the Dark Order and Hangman Page. As we've said, the Blackpool Combat Club are randomly heels now. It makes no sense. This match was fine. Nothing special about it. It was just your generic AEW Trios match. I will say Moxley didn't bleed, so it must have been an off night for him, I guess. I can't believe I'm saying... Well, actually, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm at the point where I can't give two flying flips about Jade Cargill. None. Great look, great talent in the ring, decent on the mic, and I don't give two flying flips about her. I don't care. This says a lot about how AEW knows how to use their talent. She's 54-0, never even remotely been considered for a world title match, so that tells you how that booking is going, pal. Okay, and Taya Valkyrie shows up, which is cool. I like Taya Valkyrie and wish her all the best. I'm always happy when wrestlers get paid, especially when they can take advantage of a mark like Tony Khan and just, take advantage of him and cheat him out of some of his money. But, Taya Valkyrie will be relegated to dark soon enough. Once Tony's new flavor of the month shows up in the Garcia twins, then we will never hear from Taya Valkyrie again, and that'll be that. QT Marshall and QTV was stupid. Jeff Jarrett and Orange Cassidy was fine, but of course, good old Aubrey Edwards had to show up and make her presence known. Because why wouldn't Dawn Stevens have the opportunity to put herself over? Why wouldn't she take it? The match was fine, but it was just way too much stuff going on at the end. I had a hard time following what was going on, but the match was fine. It was whatever. Okay. We all know that Tony Khan is a huge wrestling mark and has been trying to recreate WCW from the 1990s for a long time now. But could their recreation of the Outsiders be any more obvious? The Outcasts? You kidding me? This group is awful. They are all so mid. The only thing about this promo that was somewhat decent is Tony Storm making a point that the AEW fans have no idea what they want. So now, accompanying Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter are Riho, Willow Nightingale, and Sky Blue. What the hell is going on with this division? It just gets worse and worse and worse. Spoiler alert, Taya Valkyrie is not going to do anything. Look at what's happened to Athena. She was going to be the savior of AEW. Now you can barely even know she exists. This was just embarrassing, as is their entire women's division. It's just embarrassing. All right, we're going to get Powerhouse Hobbs versus Rey Fenix. Don't care. And then we get the 9-man trios match to close the show. I will say it was a cool moment for the crowd to get to see two of their greatest heroes in the ring at the same time. But once the Spot Fest started, I fast-forwarded. So pretty much a few minutes in, I fast-forwarded to the whole match. Why are we getting a random brawl backstage during the trios match? Like, what did that accomplish? To have Dark Order and the Blackpool Combat Club fighting randomly in the middle of a main event match? How does that make sense? Thank God the right team won. But this match was everything that's wrong with AEW. It's nothing but spot fest, people trying to put themselves over, a bunch of, marks in the crowd that want to do everything to cheer against the establishment that is WWE. These people have no idea what good wrestling is if it hit them in the face. And quite frankly, this entire company is an embarrassment and indictment on the professional wrestling industry. Seriously, what the hell is wrong with AEW?
This has been What the Hell is Wrong with AEW.
Thank you, Brother Carter, for the submission this week. I always appreciate you, my good man. Make sure to follow Brother Carter at Twitter at Derek Stoughton. Make sure to check out his work at DerekStoughton.com. I got it right this week. Welcome, everybody, to What the Hell's Wrong with AEW, aka What Isn't Wrong with AEW. Before we get to our big focus topic on my end of this segment, I do want to go over the stuff that did go down last night on TBS. I'm not going to start off with the Pillar stuff because that's really the main focus that I want to address here on this segment today. But we'll go into just some overarching thoughts I've just had over the last couple days and just over the last couple weeks, to be honest with you. At what point do we start admitting to ourselves that this is not an alternative wrestling product? If the only thing you could tell me that this is an alternative product is by the cursing and blood, tell me how is that any different than Impact Wrestling? Like, seriously, can you tell me with a straight face that this promotion offers alternative style of wrestling? What about any of the matches, the way the match outlooks look like, anything like that? Tell me how that looks any different from a New Japan show, a GCW. Like, what about AEW distinguishes itself as AEW? Can you tell me that? I like to know. It's 4 years into this promotion, I still don't know. Like, hey, what is this promotion? What makes AEW AEW? I'm still trying to figure that out. Speaking of things I'm trying to figure out, why in the blue hell are we still getting Hangman Page in the Dark Order against the Blackpool Cuckold Club? I did not care about this match. I was barely paying attention to it. Blackpool Club won the match. It was nice to see Stu Grace down there. I'm a fan of his. He was one of my favorite wrestlers from the Dark Order. Unfortunately, passes out to a rear naked choke by John Plummer Moxley. It's just, let me ask you, do you guys care whether or not the Blackpool Cuckold Club are heels or not? And here's another question I have for everybody that's watching this. What does it say for AEW as a whole that literally 90% of the roster are either inundated or part of trios, factions, and groups in general that just have no rhyme or reason to it? If I had to do an estimated guess from my time when I was transcribing the shows, this is a full shoot. I have not transcribed an AEW show since the end of last month. I have not transcribed an AEW Dynamite episode since the end of January. But still, at the top of my head, I could make an estimate. There has to be at least 19 to 20 trios, factions, and general groups in AEW right now. And the simple question I have to ask is why? What purpose do they serve? I don't get it. Looks like we're still going to have this feud with Juice Robinson and Ricky Starks. I think this is probably going to be a one-off more than anything. I really have nothing much to add on to it. I'm sure they'll have a good match. Ricky said that, you can bring the Bullet Club if you want. The Bullet Club were relevant back in 2015, which he has a good point. I don't disagree with him there. That was what it was. Then we go to the TBS Championship Open Challenge. Jade Cargill defeated Nicole Matthews of Shimmer fame. This was a very short match. Jade won with Jaded. After the match, Jade tried to get up in Renee Paquette's grill. Got to see her. Always great to see Canada's finest waterfall. But Cargill starts grandstanding on the mic, and out comes Taya Valkyrie. I mentioned it earlier. I'm happy for her that she's getting time on TV. But after whatever happens between her and Jade, what difference is going to be from what she does compared to Toni Storm and Saraya? So that's my question there. Interesting, Jade and Taya have similar finishing moves. Jade has the Jaded. Taya has the road to Valhalla. So there you go. Then we got here we go. We got QTV as as QT Marshall is now carrying himself as the wrestling version of Harvey Levin, and we get this TMZ bullshit nonsense that we wasted 3 minutes on TBS last night. By the way, keep all microphones away from Aaron Solo. And B, can you tell me how this benefits Powerhouse Hobbs? Wow, QT Marshall and Aaron Solo broke into Wardlow's car. Whoopity-doo! And then we get to this match. Pockets against JEFF, JARRETT. Pockets retains the AEW International Douchebag Championship. Pockets retains after another long match with bullshit and nonsense. It's bad enough the referee Bryce Remser doesn't know how to do his job. The blind continues to lead the blind. You know, you can't have an AEW show without Aubrey Edwards getting involved and officiating every other match that's involved in the show. Don't you notice that? Hey, when shit hits the fan, things are going crazy at ringside. You know what we need? You know what we all need? We need more Aubrey Edwards. VR Goggle Jones herself. I say it every week, man. The blind leading the blind. So it's bad enough we have Satnam Singh and Sanjay Dutt, the Nimrod squad interfering. Jay Lethal hits Pockets with the gimmick statement for the Burnham Golden Globe Award that they got from the AEW mark. Paul Walter Hauser. By the way, Paul Walter Hauser. Hey, look at me! I make sure I fly past Stamford, Connecticut. I go to Jacksonville. Hey, Paul Walter Hauser, where's your Oscar at? Where's that at? Anyways, let's continue on. Pockets wins with the orange punch. Whoopity-doo, who gives a fuck? Then we get to the Outcast segment. Outcast is the contingent of Ruby Soho, Tony Storm, and Britain's finest waterfall, Saraya. Again, I think the group, this whole reverse NWO thing is going to go nowhere because it defeats the purpose. We already have this whole thing where we have this reverse psychology thing where we have the Jericho January 6th Appreciators where they present sports entertainment versus what AEW presents. Now we have this thing where we have these girls that came from WWE and now they're looking down on the AEW women's roster and that people should kiss their ass and bow down to them and kiss their feet and stuff like that. Look, have they made good points over the last couple weeks? Sure. I thought Ruby's promo last week was pretty good. Tony Storm mentioning that the fact that wrestling fans are fickle is much to the surprise of absolutely nobody. I mean, a deaf person could figure that out, that wrestling fans are fickle. This group is just mid. So you could have Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter run out to the ring and have these brawls every single week. But what's the end game here? So I want it to be good. I'm always happy to see Saraya on my screen. But honestly, does it really make a fucking difference whether or not this group is a thing or not? This Outcast versus AEW Originals feud? They haven't had a distinguished division enough to even constitute a feud like this. I just think it's just ridiculous. Let's do the excrement impression. Let's get that out of the way. Coming to you live on a Rampage, starting on TNT. Immediately following the NCAA tournament, it's AEW Rampage presents St. Patrick's Day Slam, the annual tradition on TNT. We have the TNT champion, Powerhouse Hobbs, putting his side on the line against Ray Phoenix and the Lucha Brothers. AEW's newest signing, Taya Valkyrie, will make her in-ring debut. We have JES's members, Matt Menard and Angelo Coolhand Parker, taking on the Bollywood Boys. And our main event, it's Daniel Garcia taking on the House of Black's Brody King. More matches being announced on Twitter via Tony Khan. And get your tickets right now at AEWTIX.com. Repeat, that is AEWTIX.com. You talk too much. You never shut up. I said you talk too much. We got this bumblefuck 9-way trios match. This was just a freaking disaster. You have every recipe of what the hell is wrong with AEW in this match. You have House of Black against the January 6th Appreciators, and you got the Elite. And also, we got, again, everybody's favorite referee, Aubrey Edwards, being the referee. I mean, what could go wrong? So, with that being said, House of Black retains. That wasn't really a surprise to me. I think when this match was announced, I was like, okay, they'll find a way for the House of Black to win. You know, same old shit that he did with every trios match in AEW. But at the same time, they can't help themselves. So the main angle as we get off this program is not only 3 trio teams going after each other, we have a 4th now. Because we got the Blackpool Cuckold Club coming out and joining this WCW 1999 brawl that we have every time the show goes off the air. So everybody's wrong with everybody. Out comes the BCC ganging up on Hangman Page. Hangman's left in the ring with the Elites. Oh, how cute. Hangman and the Elite are back together in the ring. I can't wait for them to get back together and be friends. We already have the best friends, but we need more friends. It's all friends wrestling. I can't believe it. It's such a touchy moment. The Hangman and the Elite. Oh my God, I'm going to cry. Oh my God. That wasn't all of AEW. Before we wrap this segment up, I must discuss what I've been wanting to talk about all day today. Is this AEW 4 Pillars promo that we saw last night to kick off the episode in Winnipeg. And just like what Brother Carter said, I echo his sentiments. Everything that was said, and I'm going to deconstruct this promo for you guys. But everything that was said during the promo and coming out of it just illustrates, again, just like that trios match, what is not only what's wrong with AEW, but why MJF is in the position that he's in and why MJF is successful in spite of AEW. So we're having to read bar mitzvah for MJF. By the way, happy belated birthday, Max. You guys know the drill here. You don't me. I've always been a mark for MJF. I'm not ashamed to admit that. I am a worshiper of Maxwell Jacob Freeman. I appreciate what he does for the wrestling industry and what he does for his talent. He is indeed a generational talent. With that being said, out comes Jack Perry. Out comes Sammy Douchebag Guevara. After that, we get Darby Allin. Darbs makes his presence known. The emo warrior. And we get to this 15-minute, back and forth where Jungle Boy is talking about how, hey, Max, you never wrestled on Dark. You were never on Elevation. You were never on Rampage. By the way, why are you burying your other shows on national television? 1. 2, no shit, Max is not on the shows because Max is not a AEW Dark talent. Max is not a guy that deserves to be on Elevation or Rampage or wherever the fuck this new 3rd hour of wrestling is going to be, this new show that they're going to be debuting soon. Because, God, we all need now in 2023, guys, more AEW. We got All Access. What? We got Rampage. What? We got Elevation. What? We got Dark. What? You got Ring of Honor on Thursdays. What? You got Dynamite on Wednesdays. What? Guess what we need? Another show. Let's continue on. I don't want to get off track here. So, Jungle Boy mentions that, and then he goes into this thing about how, men and women would kill to have more time on TV, but we have to sit through 20 minutes while Max does his hokey pokey bullshit. Again, how did anything that came out of Jungle Boy's mouth benefit him last night? Why? Because he said hokey pokey bullshit? So Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, got more over because he said bullshit. Okay. He comes on the feud with Christian Cage, and basically he becomes Christian Cage. We'll see how that works. Then we go into Sammy Guevara. Whoever thought that this dude deserved the microphone in the first place is beyond me. But this is the kicker of this segment that just really took these off the rails for me. Because, look, I get the bit. 4 pillars of AEW, the 4 homegrown talents that the company is being founded on, 4 original AEW guys. I get the concept. And B, I think it would be a tremendous match. I think it would be really good. But for this, first impressions, especially when you're starting feuds, are very important. I'm not saying it's the end all be all, but I think first impressions are very important. And honestly, looking back at this segment now that I slept over and thought about it as I woke up into the next day, right? I have time to think about this. This segment illustrated to me that the pillars of AEW are just as strong, or as the pillars of AEW are just as strong and prevalent as the fucking pillars outside of the UFO ship that is known as Soldier Field. They're just there, with Max being the exception to the rule. You have 4 columns, you got 4 pillars in a company that doesn't know whether one week they want to be TNA, ECW, or WCW. You got MJF as a standout from every single person, not only on that roster, but in that ring, in that segment. Everything that either Darby, Sammy, or Jungle Boy said towards MJF proved MJF's point, and he was saying it as the segment continued going on. Out comes Sammy. Oh, I worked at Whataburger. Oh, I worked at Subway. Oh, this is the kicker here. Oh, Max, you had the system hand you everything. You've got shortcuts. I had to grind to get my championships. The system? The machine? Are we fucking kidding? If anything that comes with AEW has anything to do with politics or backstage bullshit, who do you think is the ringleader of that? You mind me asking, for everybody that's watching and listening, can you tell me who comes to your mind when it comes to backstage locker room politics in AEW? Oh, yeah, it's the Ocho, Chris Jericho, who's been holding your fucking hand since day one with the Inner Circle. I'm not gonna fall for this revisionist history bullshit. You're talking about, oh, you got handed a bad hand. Oh, no, you were a bitch boy for Chris Jericho, who decided to make an ass out of himself on multiple occasions, talked about Sasha Banks, almost killed Matt Hardy, got into locker room fights with Eddie Kingston and Andrade. You are a freaking HR nightmare. You are a human dumpster fire. You fucking suck. You're generic as shit in the ring. Anybody can do double springboard cutters in today's wrestling. There's nothing unique about you. You are generic as shit. You personify every fake tough guy I've ever seen and met in my entire life. There's no redeeming qualities to you, Sammy. You are a human dumpster fire. And I'm glad Max called out Sammy for stealing his catchphrase too during the segment. And then we get to Darby. And Darby's like, oh, I made the smart decision because there's not going to be a bidding war for Darby Allin. No shit. What are we going to build on? A liability? A guy who's probably going to be injured half the year because you're doing stupid shit outside the ring? oh, AEW lets me be me. It's so counterproductive for him to talk about how wrestlers go on Twitter and stuff and complain about their pushes and stuff like that. And I get what he's saying that from there. But also 2 seconds later, he's like, oh, I'm in AEW because they let me be me. They let me be me. As if that's a good thing. As if you have any self-awareness. Oh, there's not going to be a bidding war for me. I'd rather destroy my body for next to peanuts and whatever money I get for Tony Khan. But I got my creative freedom. I got this. I got that. All right. And Max doing what he does best. Cuts everybody down. Mentions the fact that Sammy's probably going to propose to another chick in 7 months. I wouldn't be surprised. If anybody in the world that would screw up an opportunity to not only bang or be married or be in a relationship with Ty Mello, it would be Sammy Guevara. Because that's who he is. He's a cunt. That's all he is. If that's too direct for all of you, I'm not going to apologize for this. I'm just keeping it 100. The guy's a freaking cunt. Let's just call it what it is, okay? Jungle Boy did himself no favors in this promo, and Darby Allin talks out of both sides of his ass. So, 4 pillars, 4 insecure twats fighting for the AEW championship. It all makes sense. That is AEW. And again, that is what the hell's wrong with AEW. All right, guys. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with us for this week's edition of the Hoots Podcast. As always, if you want to check out the show, make sure to subscribe or follow to the podcast anywhere you get your podcast from. Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure to like this video. Comment down below. What match are you looking forward to for WrestleMania this year? I'd love to see your responses either on Twitter at the Hoots Podcast or our comment section on YouTube. You can follow me on Twitter at the Hoots Podcast, at Instagram at Josh Lopez Media. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Remember, be the authentic product that is yourself. Remember, nobody dictates the pace of your life but yourself and the man upstairs. I love you guys. Have a wonderful week. We'll be back here for episode 353 of the Hoots Podcast. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Yes, sir.
Bye-bye, bitch.